Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Jared here with another concert review. Man, just went to Rockville a few weeks ago and I'm already doing another concert. This is one I've been planning for a few months, and I was definitely going to go all the way up until recently. And then recently it was like, I don't know if I'm going to go. And then at the last minute decided to continue to pull the trigger on it. Talking about The Warning and YUNGBLUD, Orlando, Florida, June 1st, 2026. Man, so I wanted to start by saying this was at the Edition Financial Arena on the University of Central Florida campus. I thought this was at Kia Center, so I drove all the way to Kia Center, and when I got there, I was looking around. I'm like, man, there's no parking. There's like no one here. I'm like, oh shit. I was like, it did say a different name, but I thought they rebranded Kia Center recently. So it blew my mind that I made that silly mistake. So I threw that I threw the right venue in my GPS, and it was like 44 minutes away from Kia Center, which blew my mind. But yeah, I went ahead and pulled the trigger on these tickets today. I was gonna go with my mom, but it's just been an interesting time as far as different things happening. So she wasn't able to go to this one. haven't been to a concert by myself in a little while, but I was looking at the tickets for this one, and they're relatively cheap compared to other concerts I've been to. Like I said, the day of, I went ahead today and bought the tickets, and floor tickets were ranging from like $109 to $150. I got my floor tickets for $119. I figured if I'm going by myself and the tickets are this cheap, might as well get floor tickets. So that's what I went ahead and did. $119. So yeah, after that little tomfoolery incident over at Kia Center, drove all the way over to this venue. I believe I've heard of this venue, but I've never been to it. But getting in was a breeze. They have a parking garage just down the street. Parking was like $19. They got me right in, and parked immediately, and just started speed walking over to the venue, because at this point it's 6 o'clock on the dot, and according to Ticketmaster, it said The Warning was at 6, YUNGBLUD was at 8. So I thought I might miss a little bit of The Warning, but I wasn't too horribly worried about it. I was thinking to myself, like, they might start at like 7 or just a little bit past 7, but I still wanted to get in there and get some merch, hopefully. But basically walked over to the arena, and everybody was standing outside in line. So I was like, oh wow, they haven't even opened up the doors yet. So I was like happy about that. But then I asked around, I'm like, how long until the doors open? And they were like, it's going to be 7 as long as everything goes according to plan. So I was a little like, damn. So after like worrying about being late, I ended up being like an hour early. But they had some merchandise outside of the venue I took a look at. It was all YUNGBLUD merchandise. But the line started forming up. Got in line, waited for a little bit. While I was waiting in line, there was this young girl who actually started having a health issue. It was pretty interesting. I mean, I don't know if she was like just overheated, because it was warm. But I don't know. To me, it kind of seemed like she was on drugs, but I have no idea. But they ended up like bringing a wheelchair over. She was okay. I mean, everyone could tell, like, yeah, she was struggling, but she was going to be all right. But they brought the wheelchair over, and a lot of people were assisting her, and they wheeled her away. Sorry, not laughing at her. Just a crazy little situation. Wasn't expecting to see that while I was in line, but yeah, while I was waiting in line, I kept checking Ticketmaster just to see how much the prices were fluctuating on the tickets, even though I had already bought my ticket. But like I said, like up until showtime, they were pretty much fluctuating. Floor tickets like $109 to $150. 7 o'clock hit. went ahead and they actually it was 6:50. They started letting people in. Line moved pretty swiftly. Got in there, and man, it was just so many people. Like the line was just really long, and people were just filing in. Just it really seemed like a lot of people. This venue holds holds 10,000, which is about half the size of Kia Center, which is basically half the size of a national NBA team, basically what they can do. And I was looking to see just a little history on this venue, who plays there. So it's basically the UCF college basketball team plays there. And it's just UCF building, right smack dab in the middle of the campus. And it was just interesting to kind of look around outside and just see the campus a little bit. But like I said, we went ahead and got on in there, and first thing I wanted to do is check out the merchandise, because I was told outside that they have Warning merchandise inside. And the main reason for me going to this show is for the Warning. One of my favorite bands of all time. I've seen them 3 times up to this point, so this will be the 4th time. And just saw them at Rockville a few weeks ago. So I was like just really, really dead set on the Warning. YUNGBLUD for me, I am a fan of his. I recently got into him, I think last year. My buddy sent me the song Hello Heaven Hello, and I listened to it and I was like, dang, this is a good song. I like the song. Added it to my library, listened to it like a bunch. And then YUNGBLUD did the collaboration with Aerosmith, and I was a fan of that song. What's it called? My Only Angel, something like that. Listened to that a lot. I was like, man, YUNGBLUD's got some good stuff. He's definitely getting more popular and getting a lot more notoriety. Even my mom was listening to some of his other stuff, I believe. So basically, so the main thing was just me seeing the Warning, and then YUNGBLUD was kind of the cherry on top. So went over to the merchandise, and once again, when I looked at the merchandise, please excuse my blinker here. I literally just got out of the venue and I'm on the way home. But like 99.9% of the merchandise was YUNGBLUD merchandise. And they had like 2 Warning shirts, but I was not complaining. I was just happy they had something of the Warning. And luckily the Warning shirt that they had, the one Warning shirt that they had was pretty cool. On the front it had like a license plate, and on the back it had all the tour dates and all that good stuff. So exactly what I would want when it comes to a tour shirt. And went ahead and bought that. It was like $45. I would say this merchandise was definitely better as far as the Warning goes than their merchandise when I saw them in Orlando last year. So it was cool to actually get an official Warning shirt, because the only Warning shirt I have was a bootleg from last year. So went ahead and got that. They've been promoting their new songs. They have a new album coming out soon, but the main songs that they're promoting, Kerosene and Ego. Ego just came out just the other week. It was cool to hear it play at Rockville before it was released. And I've been absolutely in love with Kerosene. So I really was excited to hear Ego again live. I actually thought it was called Ego. That's how it's spelled. But I found out later on tonight that it's Ego. So it's a very interesting song that's in all Spanish. So anyway, went ahead and got that shirt, which was pretty cool. I had a little anxiety just about how long everything was taking as far as getting through the line and everything. And I was just worried that the Warning would start while I was in line. But luckily went ahead and got down there. And so the Warning didn't start at 6 like it was advertised. They ended up starting right around 8 o'clock, but I went down to the floor and went ahead and just started taking everything in, just absorbing the arena. And it was very, very cool to experience that for the first time. But like I said, house lights went down. 8 o'clock 8 o'clock came around, and the warning started. And well, I'll just go ahead and into the warning. So, man, when they were walking out on the stage, I was like so hyped up, and I had goosebumps, and I was thinking like, man, how many people here have no clue about the warning? And I'm like, man, the warning is going to come out here, and they're going to fucking kill it, and they are going to blow YUNGBLUD off the stage tonight. I was so of that mindset, and I was so into the concert. They came out, and I'm not going to go through the set list song by song. I mean, like I said, I'm driving, but I will say, I think it might have been absolutely identical to the Rockville set list that they did just the other week, which, like, I'm cool with it. But one thing I was disappointed about in Rockville is they didn't play Choke. Choke is one of the most popular songs, one of their best songs, and it's the song that made me become a fan. And I think a lot of people have probably had that experience and could have that experience just from that song alone. It's baffling to me that they've taken it out of the set list. I saw recently on Reddit that they put it back in the set list and we're playing it, so I need to do more research on it. Maybe they play it sometimes and other times they don't, but I was disappointed they didn't do it again tonight. But overall, I would say their concert was very, very good. It was cool to see Ego again. Got some good videos for my vlog. It was cool to get Ritual and Kerosene, and then they did just a bunch of their other songs from like Keep Me Fed and Error and stuff like that. Yeah, I'm talking about Sick and Sharks, Hell You Call a Dream, Evolve. I forgot the first song they opened with. It was More. They open with More right now, and I like that song, don't get me wrong, but I don't think they should open with More. I think they should open with something else. I don't know. I don't look at it as like a fantastic opening song for them. Man, like when they would open last year on the Keep Me Fed tour with 6 Feet Deep, man, that's a killer opening song for that album and the live album and those concerts back then. And I'm totally cool with mixing it up, don't get me wrong, but man, I don't know. I don't think More is the best opening song. But man, I was just so into this concert, and they played great. Danny sounded great. I will say Pow, I wish they would have turned up Pow's mic. That was I wish like the fans would have a better understanding of how good she is on the vocals. I just thought her mic was a little bit low. I remember at the Rockville show, something that I found interesting was before the show started, Danny and Pow actually came out on the stage, and they were like checking things to make sure that they're right before they actually came on. And I was curious to see if they were going to do that again tonight. They did not. But in my head at Rockville, I was thinking like, I bet they're doing that because they constantly have so many technical issues during their concerts. And I'm like, I think like Danny and Pow are like coming out here and they're like, we need to like check this ourselves because like we can't fully rely and trust on these guys. I don't know, that's just speculation, but I did find it interesting they did that at Rockville. They did not do it tonight, like I said, but yeah, it was very fun to see them again in like this type of setting. Like seeing them at Rockville was awesome for so many different reasons, especially being as close as I was. But one thing that you don't get when you're at a festival and like it's a day concert, you don't get the full experience of their light show and also their graphics on the back behind the drum riser and stuff. I mean, they might have had graphics and stuff during the Rockville concert, but I just don't specifically remember that. And obviously if it's a day show, I mean, you're not going to see the lights and all that. So it was really cool just to like be inside that arena and see their light show. And that was one of the things that was so awesome about their show last year too, was their light show. So that was great. I mean, everyone played great. one thing at Rockville, sorry to keep bringing up Rockville, but it just happened, so I'm like naturally just comparing this concert to Rockville. During Evolve, Pow didn't do her super high note, like the scream. Actually, I wouldn't say it's a high note, it's more of a scream, which I found interesting. And I was like, is she not doing that anymore? Like, what's the deal with that? And I tried to ask online, but didn't get any responses. And I will say, when they played Evolve tonight, she did do it. So I don't know why she didn't do it at Rockville, but she's still doing it, I guess. It might have just been a one-off thing where she wasn't feeling it or something. I don't know, but man, she looked great out there. Man, she's just like flawless. Like, it's crazy how different she looks compared to the first time I saw them back in 2023. Like, just her and her red hair and everything. It's just, she looks like a completely different person compared to back then. Danny made a lot of guitar changes, and it was just a lot of fun to also watch Pow's facial expressions, and she's just so like confident, and she's just having a blast. It was fun to see her interacting with Allie a lot during the show, and they were like smiling. These sisters just have such a good relationship, it seems like, and they're just very, very confident and very, very talented musicians. And man, I have pretty much nothing but great things to say about them. It was a great performance. It was very good. And yeah, they played for about 45 minutes, which is like pretty much what I expected. And then they went off. And yeah, it was, like I said, it was just very similar to the Rockville performance. But it was great. I was curious what other people were thinking about them, especially people who haven't seen them before. And I did hear this guy behind me say they were boring. And I was like, wow. Like, I didn't find them boring at all. Like, it's very fascinating that somebody found them like boring to me. I mean, obviously everyone has different opinions, different taste. But I just find it fascinating. Like, I could find it great and very entertaining and fun, and just be very happy with what I witnessed and heard, and then someone else can just have a completely different experience. But that's music and that's life. So that was interesting. I remember him saying, he's like, the lead singer had a great voice, but yeah, he was basically just saying like he thought that they were just doing like the same moves over and over again, and he just didn't seem that impressed with them. And anyway, I just found that very interesting. So yeah, so they finished about 8:45, and then like I said, I'm kind of just like, I'm cool. Like, you know, I just really wanted to see The Warning, and I have no idea what to expect with YUNGBLUD. So YUNGBLUD took a little while to come on, I'm not gonna lie, and there was a dude next to me who was definitely complaining about that, how long it was taking for him to come out. I would say YUNGBLUD started after 9. It was a good half hour in between The Warning and YUNGBLUD starting. But finally, like, the house lights went down, and basically the intro of the show was them just playing Black Sabbath's War Pigs over the speakers, and everybody has their phone out and they're recording and they're just thinking the show's gonna start, but it ended up just being like pretty much the entire War Pigs song, just over the speakers, with like the show not like officially starting until that ended. While War Pigs was playing, something that you could notice is if you looked up, you saw this, like, I don't even know what you call it, but it's like I guess it was like a statue that was being kind of like brought down from the ceiling. And if you look closely, it said Idols on it. This is the Idols tour that YUNGBLUD is doing. And yeah, like I said, going into it, I didn't really know what to expect, but I was just hoping for a good show. Maybe he would play like some of the songs that I liked, but I have no idea what he plays, so I wasn't really like getting my hopes up for it. But next thing you know, like, yeah, War Pigs ends, and then they do this video on the back of the behind the drum riser, they do this video basically just showing like this video clip montage of YUNGBLUD, and then basically the band comes out, and then he comes out, and man, I can't can't explain to you how hyped the crowd was. They were going insane for this guy, and everybody has their phones out, and the show starts. And one of the crazy things was that he opened with "Hello Heaven, Hello," and I was like, no way, like that's my favorite song of his. I can't believe he's opening with it. Now in retrospect, I'm like, that's probably one of his most popular songs. But it's just absolutely awesome that he opened with that song, and I got to hear that song live and listen to it live. And man, like, I can't explain to you that I'm so like not in tune with YUNGBLUD. Like, I've never even seen him like on videos perform. I haven't really heard much about him. I really just didn't know what he was all about. But man, like, one of the first things I noticed, I'm like, this guy is absolutely full of energy. That is like one of the main takeaways from the whole entire concert of his. I was like, man, the one word to describe this concert and him: energy, absolute energy. And early on, I'm thinking, okay, like, he's full of energy. Is it gonna last? Like, I feel like maybe after a couple songs, he's gonna like chill the fuck out, and like he'll be mellow like before you know it. But I can't stress this enough. He kept that same energy the whole entire show, and they played for like, I think, over an hour and a half, which I was surprised about that too. I was thinking maybe like another 45 minutes to an hour on this show. But man, this guy is just full of energy. It's like a childlike energy. And it's not just that, like, since I'm not like super in tune with YUNGBLUD, I think this review is going to be a little bit different, because it's just a lot of just observations as far as like what happened. Instead of like going into the songs and all that stuff, I'm just going to really just talk about how much of a show it really was. He was so interactive with the crowd. It was just unbelievable. I've never been to like a concert where, like, I would say majority of the crowd was just so hyped and into it like the whole entire time. There weren't dull, boring moments. He constantly was keeping the crowd engaged. He was running around the stage, going from the left side of the stage, yelling at that side of the crowd, going to the right side of the stage, yelling at that side of the crowd, yelling at the middle, yelling at the people in the nosebleeds. And I say yelling, but I mean like he would just like have them put their hands up and clap their hands, go from side to side. He would have like a song where he would like he's like, you know, all the ladies get up on the male shoulders, and oh my God, like it was just constant energy. You know, he was just dancing around, and like something I also quickly realized, I'm like, okay, like he's a good looking dude, and man, the ladies absolutely love him. But it's not just the ladies, it's the men too. I'm like, everybody loves this guy. Like, they are just like infatuated with him. And like, man, he's like taking his shirt off, and he's like pouring liquid on his head, and, you know, messing around with his hair, slicking his hair back, playing with his hair, shaking his ass, you know, teasing the crowd, almost like pulling his pants down and showing his ass. He showed a little bit of it. But man, the girls were just screaming at the top of their lungs. And like, it's so weird because like, I didn't even know he was like British. So I was like a little bit into the show, I realized like, oh, okay, he's not even American. But to this is a good transition. I've always talked about like American crowds when it comes to rock concerts, and I'm like, they are not like crowds from other countries. Like, if you compare like an American crowd to like an Argentinian crowd, it's night and day. Like, our American crowds, they don't move around, they don't like dance, they don't even like sing or make a lot of like they don't interact a lot. A lot of people just stand there and not really do much. And it's just so interesting because like this crowd tonight did not feel like an American crowd. It felt like a crowd from another country. It was just like, oh my God, I can't explain it. Like everyone with their phones out and recording and just dancing, and it was just unbelievable. And not only that, but like YUNGBLUD had fire on his stage. He had confetti multiple times. He had pyrotechnics, like little fireworks. Oh my God, it was just so much. It was so like stimulating. It was insane. It was just energy from start to finish. He was making these crazy faces. He was like sticking his tongue out at people. He kept throwing cups into the crowd. He would interact with people, like specifically, he would point at them and interact with them. People had signs that they were just displaying all night. Oh my God. It was like just insane. It really was. Like, I know I'm trying to not be a prisoner of the moment, but I truly like feel this way right now. Like, it's just been an insane night. And I just was blown away by how much of a showman this guy is. And I'm thinking to myself, like, he reminds me of like, he's like a combination of like prime. No, I'm not saying he's as good as these guys, but I'm just saying he reminds me of them. But he reminds me of like prime Freddie Mercury, Ozzy Osbourne, like David Lee Roth, Axl Rose, the dude from Buck Cherry. Like, he just reminds me of like a combination of all these guys like in their prime. And oh my God, he was incredible. Absolutely incredible. And his band was good too. The focus really wasn't on the band. It was truly on YUNGBLUD the whole entire night. But I will say, when it comes to the band, his main guitar player, I remember some of the things that resonated with me about him was like, he had a lot of hair in his eyes, and he just seemed like really chill and cool and really not like super interactive. But like at one point he was even like smoking a cigarette on stage, and he was just vibing out. The bass player was this like young looking female with blonde hair, and she kind of looked, she almost looked kind of drugged out. I'm not saying she was, I'm just saying like her look. But I remember she smiled a few times, and then they had another guitar player next to her, which I thought that was YUNGBLUD when they first came out on the stage. And it's just funny because like when YUNGBLUD actually came out, it was like, oh, okay, obviously this is YUNGBLUD. Drummer was good. I remember he took his shirt off after a few songs. And they also had a keyboard player. It was a female up on the top left of the stage. And then this was, out of all the band members, these two ladies are probably the ones that resonated with me the most. They had these two violin players, and it was these like hot chicks, but it was just funny and interesting because like a lot of the show, like they wouldn't have anything to play, but they would stay on the stage and they would just sit there and they would be completely still, just like looking off into space. And I was like kind of wondering at times, I'm like, is there like a need for them to even be on the stage like during this part of the song if they're not playing, stuff like that. But in retrospect, I kind of wonder if it's just like the aesthetic of it. It's kind of like creepy in a way, and maybe that's what they were going for. But they were, everybody was talented. But yeah, it was like, not only did he play the one song that I love of his, Hello Heaven Hello, but he did both Aerosmith songs. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, he did both of them. I'm like, he's doing everything he's supposed to do. I can't believe this guy. He's like really killing it. Man, just such a showman. But even some of the songs that like I didn't know, I was like, these are good songs. Like, these are catchy. There was one song, I think it's called Fleabag or something, but he pulls this little kid on stage from the crowd, And I think this is like a running segment that they do at every show or something, because I saw multiple people say on their signs, like, pull me on stage for Fleabag or whatever. But he pulls this little kid on and gives him the guitar, and like he plays Fleabag on stage with YUNGBLUD, which is super cool that he did that. Man, even one thing I forgot to mention, when I was waiting in line for this concert, they were passing around these little plastic baggies that had these little colored squares in them, and basically you look at the colored square and it basically just gives you directions like, hey, during the concert, do this during this song. And one of the little squares was saying, hey, during it doesn't say hey, but it says during changes, put your flashlight on and put this piece of paper behind your light and raise it up in the air. So that's what like everyone was doing during changes. And there was another song where people were doing that. But changes, man, that was an absolutely epic, awesome performance. I almost wonder if he should have ended the concert with that one, because it was so good. He's a huge Ozzy Osbourne fan. Like I said, he was playing Black Sabbath and Ozzy Osbourne before and after the show on the speakers, and he was at the Back to the Beginning show, and I know Ozzy was very complimentary of him. So very, very big Ozzy fan, and like, man, you can see his influence in him. And I just think to myself, like, man, this guy YUNGBLUD, he I just like it just blew my mind that the ticket was like $119. I'm like, it just felt like a steal, absolute steal. I was like, I could see this guy getting huge like before we know it, and it's like getting a pit ticket for him will be like hundreds of dollars. So man, I'm trying to remember if I know I'm just all over the place here, but it's just everything that's coming to my mind. I mean, there were females crying like tears of joy, and man, I'm not gonna lie, at the end of the concert I felt kind of like tired. I mean, for numerous reasons, but I was like a little exhausted. I'm like, it's a lot, very, very overstimulating, a lot to process. And I don't know how he keeps that energy. It's just like, he is the whole package. That was one of the other things I kept thinking to myself. He is the whole package. I definitely, I hate to say this, and I take no pleasure in saying this, but I quickly realized during YUNGBLUD's show, I was like, okay, yeah, YUNGBLUD is the headliner for a reason, and the Warning, there's no comparison to YUNGBLUD show. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to talk shit or anything, but YUNGBLUD just they kind of blew the Warning out of the water tonight, and I love the Warning. So I hate to say that, but I'm just being honest, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but yeah, YUNGBLUD absolutely killed it tonight. And God, I don't even know. Just so many thoughts and emotions going through my head. So like, yeah, they like I said, they played for like a little over an hour and a half, and when the show was over, everyone, house lights come on and everyone starts to leave the venue and stuff, and I started to walk away too, and the next thing you know, I hear the crowd going crazy, and I turn around, YUNGBLUD came back all by himself, back on stage, waving to people that stuck around, and then he went down in the crowd and just started signing autographs for everybody, and not everybody, but for a bunch of people, and he went from like each side of the venue, and was just going through the crowd of people and just signing autographs. And man, these people were going insane. Like, people were like pushing each other. It was, oh my God, I've never experienced anything like this before. It was just nuts. And speaking of the people going insane, when I'm talking about during the concert, these people were screaming so loud. I was just like, my mind was blown and my ears were blown. How loud they were screaming for this man. So yeah, I mean, I gotta say, if you have the chance to see YUNGBLUD, you gotta go to the show. And it's mostly like rock music, but he definitely incorporates some like hip hop elements too. I think he was more hip hop like earlier in his career, and now he's more like leaning toward rock. But even the hip hop stuff was good, and I'm just like, I gotta like add some more of these songs to my freaking playlist because they were really good. And man, it was just absolutely unbelievable night. I really enjoyed myself, and I know he's going to Hollywood, Florida tomorrow, playing in Hollywood, Florida. And if you, like I said, if you have the chance to see him, you gotta get a ticket. I highly recommend it. Even if you're not super familiar with him, if you're outgoing and you like having a good time, man, this is the concert for you. I've never experienced a concert like this. I've seen a lot of concerts over the years, and highest energy and like the just most interactive I've ever seen in my life when it comes to a front man and interacting with the crowd. And he had that crowd by the balls. It was just insane. Reminded me of Scott Weiland too. But yeah, I think he's only going to get bigger. So that was it, man. I left that arena thinking like, wow, like what did I just witness? If you went to the show, what did you think? If you've seen YUNGBLUD before, what were your thoughts about the concert? What are your favorite YUNGBLUD songs? If you're a Warning fan, tell me what you think about the Warning. What do you think about their new singles? If you've seen the Warning live, what are your thoughts about them? Yeah, please leave a comment below. I try to respond to everything. I'm going to try to promote this stuff on Reddit and other social media sites. But please give me your feedback. Please comment, like, and subscribe. I love you all. See you on the next one.